So, hello, Northern Soul Tribe. I'm back after a year of not putting anything up on this channel. I've decided to come back to it because I feel there's a need to, but also because I think it's about time and I think I needed a long break off to kind of get certain things in order and to sort certain things out. And I was going through a lot of initiatory phases last year, particularly last year, but in Chinese astrology, it was the year of the snake or the serpent, and I'm born on the year of the serpent, 1989. So because it was my year in the Chinese astrology, for me particularly, it had a lot of there was a lot of changes going on in my life, and I shed a lot of my skin symbolically off. And what I mean by that is I had to shed all those old patterns off. And it's weird because recently I've been reflecting upon all those past years of my life. And, I have some good memories, obviously, and everything like that. And it's kind of come to me, it's like I look back at those old memories, but I could never go back to them again, if you know what I mean. It will be like me reliving a time that's already gone. And, I had a lot of there's a lot of pain in those times, but there's also a lot of joy as well. But I'm past that now. And this year is kind of like I see multiple directions and multiple roads I could go down. And there's a choice for me to make which road to go down because I can't go down all of them. That's the thing. So I'm now back to doing readings again for people. Uh, if you want a reading from me, you can go to my website, and all the details of how to get into contact with me are there. I do astrological readings because I'm now, for a year now, I've been a qualified astrologer. So I'm actually qualified, and I got the certification to prove it as well. And also, I do rune readings. I do tarot readings for people as well. So, um, if you want to basically get some readings from me, and also I do mystery school classes as well in magic, particularly, which I mix kind of elements of particularly the northern or tradition of magic with the more what you'd call hermetic magic together to create a true, authentic Western, or what I would like to call Northwestern, um, way of practicing magic. Because the way the Western mystical magical tradition has been done in the last 500 years, it's got elements in it that aren't really that are kind of very outdated and not really, how shall I put it, like corrected yet. And so what I'm trying to do is basically filter certain elements out, put certain elements in, and then kind of bring it back to kind of something more, um, something that's actually more suited to the Western mind, or the Northwestern mind, as I like to put it. So there's that. Also, I'd like to talk about the astrological alignments that are basically happening right now. So, since 2011 up until very recently, until last year, um, and to the beginning of this year, Neptune has been in Pisces, and now it's moved to Aries, and Saturn has also moved to Aries as well. Now, since 2011 up until very recently, because Neptune represents its spirituality, its ideals, but it also can, relate to our dreams as well. And that's what Neptune represents. Pisces was in Neptune, and Pisces is also related to dreams, also to fantasy, also to illusions, but there's also elements of also a lot of to do with compassion and empathy as well. And that's the realm we've been in for spirituality since 2011 onwards. And I think it has been true. I mean, since that time, a lot of us had to go through certain illusions, certain fantasies that we had to basically deal with. There's also there's a difference between your own inner fantasy and illusion. What I mean by that, everyone has their own inner fantasy. Your inner fantasy is your own inner myth, in a sense. It's it's what you would call your own subjective inner world. That doesn't mean it doesn't make it true. It means that it can only be expressed through art. You can never ever intellectually really present it to anyone. Meaning that you don't intellectualize it. You only can express it through art. And what I mean by that is through story, through visual art, through music, through poetry, through the arts. You can only express your own fantasy, your own inner world, your own subjective, you could call reality, through the arts. And I think a lot of us from 2011 to 2000 and up until very recently, we've gone through kind of a phase of a journey of basically discovering what our inner world is and kind of forming it all together within ourselves. But we haven't really materialized it yet into the art form we want to put it into. And with Aries and Neptune now, Aries is a sign of action. It's a sign of the hero. It's a sign of the it's the foolhardy. It's the likes to take risks in a sense. That's kind of what we're kind of moving into now. So spirituality is going to be a lot about basically action and taking risks, and not being completely stable in one place anymore. It's going to be a bit more on the edge in that sense. But I think that basically because we've formalized that kind of inner world since, and we basically dispelled certain illusions since then. It basically Aries basically tells you to basically, you know, get your shit together. Get in a sense, yeah, get your shit together. Get basically, back on the horse again. So this is going to be more, and now we're going into the year of the horse as well, with Aries in Neptune and Saturn. This is going to be more of a fire blazer, more than anything. And because we formulated more the inner art within ourselves, we are now going to basically have to put that into action. And what that means is kind of like what I'm doing right now is I'm working on a story basically, a what I call my own, like what Tolkien did with his own his own works. He did mythopoeia, which is basically means creating your own mythology. That's what I'm doing at the moment, and I'm putting together hopefully I'm going to try and make it a trilogy of books, but uh basically going to tell a story. I'm not going to tell you what it exactly is, but I'm working on that, and it's going to basically incorporate my own mysticism through symbols and metaphors using certain another, a kind of like a fantasy world with certain archetypes within it to kind of put those ideas forward. And that's what I'm doing. And now other people might have it, might go more towards music or visual art. I'm also putting visual art into that books as well. Poetry as well. I also write poetry or any other kind of like theatre performance or whatever. Uh, that kind of like that's kind of what we need to be. That's we need to kind of put that all into action. And because I noticed that a lot of people in the occult or esoteric spheres here online very are more into the kind of academic and intellectual kind of side of it, and that is needed and as well because that is very much more kind of the left brain kind of way of processing it. But that will only ever get you so far. It's about because it's a lot of it is to do with expression and through the right brain ideas as well, and using that side. And this is the thing what we have a lot in the esoteric and the occult world online. It is very much more, from what I see anyway. It's a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it does tend to basically focus on the more um, intellectualized form of it, and which is you need to learn that basically for study and for those purposes. That's there's more to it than just that. So yeah, so we're going. So basically, Aries is also going to Saturn as well, and Saturn is about constriction, it's order, it's basically it's discipline, it's authority, and so Aries going into that is going to basically Aries in Saturn basically is kind of like a having Aries in Saturn basically makes Aries the authority for the next 2 years, and so it's going to be like that hot-headed disciplinarian basically telling you to get your shit together, get on with it, get on, and it might become seem quite annoying at times, but maybe it's for the benefit because from 2 years from now, I think that basically the that will set people up for basically the next 10 years of where they're meant to go in life. And obviously, I'm also a Cancerian. Jupiter is also in Cancer at the moment, and basically, Jupiter represents fortune and good luck. So, for me, that might that has basically opened up a lot of doors in my life. And at the moment, it's kind of like there's all these doors opening up, but which one do I go down? Which door do I go through? And that's what I'm realizing for me at the moment. Obviously, it's in retrograde at the moment, so Cancer's in retrograde in Jupiter Jupiter's in retrograde in Cancer at the moment, so it's not going to go. I think it's in March. This actually this month. I think it's going back into um, March the 11th. Actually, I think it goes into station direct again, Jupiter, and so that will maybe basically make things more clear for me then. Um, Also, my moon is in Leo, and then next once Jupiter goes comes out of Cancer, goes into Leo. So I think there's probably going to be quite a lot of good luck for me then as well, and fortune brung to me this throughout the whole of this year. So on my end, it's probably looking quite good for me in terms of that. But I think at the moment, it's like I'm looking at all these different paths, and I think, do I want to go down that one? or do I want to go down that one, or do I want to go down that one? It's like all these options are being given to me, and one of the reasons for me coming back on here is because I think my spiritual work is a fundamental important part of my life. I can't have all this knowledge and wisdom about what all this esoteric and occult knowledge and wisdom I've learned of for, for over the years, which the vast majority of people don't know about, and then just not assist anyone else who is also on the verge of discovering this kind of knowledge and wisdom for themselves, and not be able to kind of mentor them in such a way or guide them in such a way, because obviously in human design I'm a projector, and us projectors are meant to be the guides. We're not really the doers. That's more the generators. They're the ones who do things. They're the ones who actually go out and more do things. Whereas us projectors, we're more the beers. We're more into being, but we're also teachers and guides. So that's our basically archetypal role within the amongst the human collective. So for me as a projector, I'm meant to be a guide and a teacher. I'm not meant to be so much someone who goes out there and just does things all the time and has to basically, work and and do the whole grinding thing all the fucking time. For me, it's more learning, not just through accumulating information and knowledge, but through wisdom, through experiences, and then guiding and teaching people my wisdom and knowledge so that they can basically learn from it themselves and take that on board with them. If that makes sense. So yeah, so for me, it's kind of been this has kind of been quite a last year was quite a well, a lot of changes happened in my life, and I'm not saying it was all perfect either. There were times where I did nearly feel like giving up. There was times where I did feel like I was more, but then there was times where I felt great joy as well. So it wasn't all, one thing. It was just I needed to get my shit sorted out basically, and I wasn't ready to come back to doing this again. But now I am, and I want. So if anyone wants to basically get a consultation, an astrological one, a runes or tarot, or wants to have magic class, some some like teaching sessions of me, then hit me up on my website. All the information is on there, and go on there, and it's www.valkanicoven.com, and all the everything's on there for you to look. But yeah, so that's all I've got to say for now. I'm going to probably make more videos of me just probably doing in this kind of format, uh, and just me talking about stuff. And because I think this is kind of like where you can get to, it feels like when I do it in this format, kind of like you more see the person who I am more than basically me doing more kind of the presentational stuff, which is kind of very like kind of more formal. Whereas I like doing it like this kind of makes it more um see me and my personality more. So I might do just videos like this where I sit back and talk about shit. Um and yeah, so I probably might make a few like I said, I might make a few more videos. I don't know how much a week or something like that, but yeah. So that's all I've got to say for now, and yeah, and take care.